So hello, everyone. I was just waiting for a few more people to join. And welcome to Pitch on Demand. So I'm very excited. This is the third year we've been running Pitch on Demand. And today we're delighted to have Warner Brothers Discovery join us. So I'd just like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional owners of all the lands on which we live and work. And for me, that's the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, to whom I pay respect to the elders past, present, and emerging. So I'm Jessica Giaco. I'm the Industry Programs Manager at Screen Producers Australia. And as I said, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome to today's Pitch on Demand the team at Warner Brothers Discovery, ANZ. So we will hear from the team about how they're exploring working within Australia and what this means in terms of the kinds of content they're looking for in the unscripted and scripted spaces. If you have any questions related to the content and the brief, please send through the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen, and I will try my best to get to them later on in the webinar. So I'd like to begin by introducing our speakers and inviting them to just tell us a little bit about themselves. So I'll start with Vicky.
Hi everyone, I'm Vicky Keogh, Senior Director of Commissioning across ANZ for Warner Brothers Discovery. My background is in producing and directing largely in the UK before moving out to New Zealand 10 years ago. Most of my experience was in the factual space, but I have since worked across all genres in the commissioning space, both at TDNZ and more recently at Warner Brothers Discovery. I run the team here and I have the pleasure of working with these wonderful women, Virginia and Tina.
Thanks, Vicky. Virginia, welcome.
Thanks, Jessica. Hi, everyone. Virginia Hodson. I'm Senior Commissioner Unscripted. I'm based in Australia for ANZ, working to Vicky and with my colleague Tina. My background is as a producer in Australia, working across all genres, including reality, factual, over quite a long career. I joined Warner Brothers Discovery as a commissioner 2 years ago, and it's been brilliant working with this team, and we're looking forward to speaking to you about what we're doing and what we plan to do.
Thanks, Virginia. And Tina, hello.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tina McLaren, and I look after the scripted content for Warner Brothers Discovery, and I'm based in Auckland, New Zealand. My background is in commissioning. I was a drama commissioner at TVNZ and producing, and I've produced across scripted and unscripted content, but my passion is scripted. So I'm in my happy place now.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tina, and welcome all today. So I'm just going to hand over to Vicky, and Vicky can just tell us a little bit about how you're currently working with Australian producers and production companies.
Sure. So obviously we have some long-running series out of Australia, predominantly on our Discovery pay TV channels. Highly successful returning series, Aussie Gold Hunters and Outback Opal Hunters. We also have associated spin-offs from both of those series, and they continue to smash it in the ratings. Very successful shows, very traditional Discovery territory. We also will work with Australian producers on other genres and other types of shows, but it predominantly will be in the co-production space. Our primary commissioning platforms are in New Zealand. So we have a free-to-air platform in New Zealand called 3 and 3 Now, which is a BVOD platform associated with the free-to-air channel. Those are our primary commissioning platforms and have been for the last couple of years. I can actually share a portfolio of channels for you in a moment, Jess, and just talk you through who we are, because I think there's probably some confusion given that we've been through a couple of mergers in the last couple of years. But certainly Australian producers are welcome to pitch to us at any time. Most of it will be, as I said, a co-production opportunity with New Zealand at the moment, but that could change. So very open to hearing what people have got to offer.
Fantastic. So what are some of the factors that are driving your decisions when you're commissioning these originals?
Sure. So we're very passionate across our team in finding local original content that we can export to the world. So we've had a couple of really great examples in the last couple of years. There's a show here called Tracked, which was an original New Zealand idea that was then kind of developed out to meet the needs of both 3 in New Zealand, which is a very mainstream free-to-air channel, but also meet the needs of Discovery around the world. So that show has now gone into 17 territories and has also just launched on Max in the US. that's a great example of success for us, and it's something we're looking to do more of. We will always look for opportunities where we can partner with other territories and where we can come together as a commissioning team and have the right opportunities and try and keep that content in-house. We also are very keen to work with platforms in Australia where we don't have a free-to-air platform currently. So anything that resonates with, say, Channel 9 or 7 or 10 or anyone, we're very keen to partner up. We've done this on a couple of occasions already. So we had a show, Heartbreak Island, a few years ago that Virginia looked after that aired on 7 as well as 3. And any opportunities like that where we can cast it in a certain way that appeals to more than just one territory, very keen on those.
Fantastic. So when Australian producers pitch to you, what is the platform they will see their projects on? And can you talk us through how that works?
Yeah, why don't I pull up the slide, Jess, because it might be easier just to roll with the, bear with me. Okay. So our portfolio of channels has expanded. So previously, when we were Discovery, we obviously had the pay TV side of the business. We've now got a whole portfolio operating across free-to-air, pay TV, digital, and we've also just launched 5 FAST channels in New Zealand. This, in terms of where content will sit, it really depends what the show is. It really depends what the audience proposition is. But predominantly, we are commissioning, as I say, for 3 and 3 Now out of New Zealand. Where we can partner up in Australia, we're absolutely open to doing that. But really, most of our commissioning budget is driving to digital. A digital proposition for us at the moment is paramount. So anything that we commission with a digital first approach. We still commission shows for Discovery as well, but as I said, we're quite well served in that area at the moment. We have some highly successful long-running series. So whilst the opportunity might change in the future, really it's predominantly 3 and 3 Now.
Great. Was there, do we want to move on to the kinds of content you're specifically after?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We've done
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, we've done quite a lot of work on our content strategy in the last 12 months. As you can imagine, it's been a bit of a journey. So when Discovery bought the free-to-air channels in New Zealand and then subsequently merged with Warner's and became Warner Brothers Discovery, we've had lots of discussions around our identity, around the kinds of shows that work for the various platforms, around our audience. And we have developed a very strong sense of what works for each of these platforms. The one I'll talk to most today is 3 Now, which is our digital offering in New Zealand. Mm-hmm. We divide the content into 3 buckets or cohorts. So we look for shows that fit with reality lovers. So you'll see lots and lots of reality content on there. We also see real success with information seekers, which is factual and documentary content. And that's across, everything from obs docs right through to high-end premium documentary series. And then we've got escape artists, which is really where scripted and comedy fits, and we can talk to each of those in a bit more detail. Mm-hmm. So when we are commissioning, this is really what we're looking to do. So very much adopting a platform agnostic mindset. You'll have heard this from most of the key networks, both here and overseas. It's really where we're headed. We have to make sure that any content we commission is working really hard for our digital platform as well as for other platforms that we might be commissioning for. So we're looking to increase those local content audiences, and everybody knows that local content is of paramount importance to our audiences. We've had some incredible successes, particularly in the drama space this year, actually, in terms of local drama and how that's gone down with our audiences. We're really fortunate that we benefit from the shared learnings from the entire Warner Brothers Discovery universe, and what we mean by that is we have insights and research and regular contact with our colleagues in other territories. So we're always sharing what's working, what's doing well on digital, what's doing well on pay, what's good for free to air. And we share those learnings across the business. We're very, very fortunate to have that level of insight. We have a full product portfolio to realize the full benefits of our investment. So we window our content across multiple platforms. I think, that's been spoken about globally as well. We look for the opportunity to maximize audience reach. So we may put a piece of content primarily on 3 or 3 Now. We may then decide to also play that content on Discovery channels, or we may play it in other territories on other platforms such as Max. So that's what we're looking to do, and that's how we operate. So there's quite a lot that goes into thinking about every commissioning decision we make. And in terms of what we're after, look, it's fairly straightforward. This won't be news to anyone. We commission across all these genres. So premium, factual and documentary, reality and entertainment, comedy and scripted. It's always about accelerating digital growth. And I think, you'll hear that from everyone at the moment. That is the primary focus. But we don't want to do that at the expense of our linear performance. So we accelerate digital growth and maintain that linear performance. And we've had a couple of really good examples this year where we've done that. So our version of The Traitors, we commissioned The Traitors in New Zealand before the UK version came out. So we didn't actually have the benefit of knowing what a strong digital proposition that show was until we'd commissioned it. Fortunately, we've seen the same effect in New Zealand. So the show has gone really well on free to air, but it's also driving digital growth for us. And that's the kind of opportunity that we're really looking for more of across all of these genres.
Great. For this particular initiative. So Pitch on Demand was created to give platforms the opportunity to consider the gaps in their slates and to provide that brief to Australian producers for what they're looking for. And I know you've got a few here, and we will hone in a little bit more for the audience watching of what that brief will look like, but I'll just hand back to you to sort of talk us through that now.
Yeah, and in turn, I'm going to hand over to these two. So Virginia, who looks after our unscripted slate and all the different genres, can talk us through what she's looking for there.
Yes, thanks, Vicky. Premium, factual and documentary. Again, human stories where real life is as compelling as drama, and really high-end production values are what we always look for and achieve. A really successful show that you may not know in Australian audiences, but David Lomas Investigates, which is a long-running series which is run on 3 and 3 now, where David Lomas, a very well-known journalist in New Zealand, investigates family mysteries and secrets and reunites families. It continues to be an incredibly popular factual series for us. Crime, true crime, always looking for those kind of stories, which also will reach a New Zealand audience, and if it's Australia as well, that's a real added bonus. We, again, digitally led, we are always looking for shows, and these ones that we've been doing do that. They work really well on digital and also free to air. Other examples that we've done this year, we did a version of Couples Therapy, New Zealand. This was really an excellent series that was produced by us, by one of our partners. It actually performed above what we'd hoped it would do, and is currently, and will play also in Australia. And of course, Vicky's already mentioned these incredible series that have a life of their own, Aussie Gold Hunters and Outback Opal Hunters. Aussie Gold Hunters, it's 9 series, it's in its 8th series at the moment on air, and Outback Opal Hunters premiered last week on Discovery New Zealand and Australia, and again performed brilliantly. These are worldwide, global sensations. They also showcase, the beautiful and brutal outback, with high stakes for the people who are actually involved in it, and their human stories. Again, real life is as compelling as drama. That's really, I think, in our world, what we do at the moment, which has been successful for us. Nadia's Farm, actually, I'll just mention another one, which was is Nadia Lim, was a MasterChef winner in New Zealand, who has become, again, a very popular celebrity in New Zealand. She was a MasterChef host last series in New Zealand, and it's following her and her husband's life and young children on their farm as they convert an old farm in Queenstown into a growing business. It's really dramatic, it's very beautiful, and it's been a real hit and has been recommissioned again in New Zealand.
Fantastic. Can I just ask, I've just had a couple of people asking if you're looking specifically for series or features as well?
Absolutely series for everything. Yeah, it makes way more sense for us to invest our marketing dollars in series than one-offs. Very occasionally we'll take one-offs, and certainly Tina can probably speak more to this, but in the film space, we will often provide platform support to a feature film if they need that in New Zealand. But predominantly we're looking for series.
And is any duration in particular, or number of episodes? I know you said 3 to 6 episodes.
Standard commercial duration. So we have flex within that. So I think the Traces episodes run long. So we would normally be commissioning for a 44 minutes of content for a 60-minute slot. Traces ran long just because the content was so good, we actually wanted it to. So there's always room for flexibility, but it's either, more often than not, it will be commercial hours. Occasionally we'll do half hours as well in the right slot, but generally speaking, we're looking for commercial hours or 90. That's the other opportunity as well, particularly in the reality space.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Oh, and yes, reality and entertainment, again, really popular genre for us. The Traitors, Vicky's already mentioned, performed beyond our wildest dreams, really. It was a 10-ep New Zealand version, currently showing on 10play as well in Australia. This launched so well, both on linear and also on our digital platform. Commercially friendly is something that's important, again, to us with these reality entertainment genres. We're looking at, and the Traitors, again, one that I think fits into that is one that we're doing at the moment, which is House Rules New Zealand. Again, a very commercially friendly format, hugely successful in Australia. This was the first time that we did our own version, which we're doing, which is going really well as well, currently screening. Heartbreak Island, Vicky also mentioned, this was a co-pro with the Seven Network, a really big dating franchise, which we ran last year, which also did very well, performed very well for us. Tracked was a huge success as well. We've had some great success stories hosted by British actor Vinnie Jones, as Vicky mentioned. This was an original extreme adventure series hosted by the amazing Vinnie Jones. And this has now gone into 17 territories, of which we're really, really proud. And the first New Zealand production, I believe, Vicky, to be screened on Max. Is that true in the US? Yes, that's correct.
And we should mention also, Virginia, the funding model for that was really interesting because we were able to leverage into our screen production grant, or screen production rebate, as it's now called, because it was local IP, because it had certain components and it met certain criteria. We were able to leverage that rebate, which was hugely attractive and made the content a lot more affordable.
Yeah, and what we also have recently commissioned is Married at First Sight New Zealand, which has been produced in New Zealand before. It had a holiday and it's coming back. And given the continued incredible success of the other iterations of this show, we're really excited to bring one with a Kiwi twist. And we've got a lot of hope that that's going to go very well. These are mainly multi-night series, which might run over 5 to 8 weeks. And as I said, with most of them, we are looking always for something that's commercially friendly for product partners to take part in.
And returning series as well?
And returning. We're always looking to return.
Great. Thank you.
Ina.
Thank you, and hello again. Comedy is a really successful genre for us here, and in the local market. And 3 and 3 Now is definitely known as the home of comedy. We have a lot of great comedians, and we try and support them across both the scripted and the unscripted slate. So we're always looking to support new talent and original ideas. We aim to create internationally viable series, and in the case of 2 of our most recent scripted series, Double Parked and Homebound 3.0, they have been picked up by international distributors, so that's been a supercharge for the local people making those. The next point is probably the most important one for me: trying to create broad-reaching content that has a good heart and is authentically diverse, because it gives us a lot of scope, and it certainly pushes out our ability to innovate in that area. And as I said, we're always looking to expose new, fresh talent. We have a long-running panel show called 7 Days. It's in its 15th year, and it continues to be a really, well, the highest rating show mostly, which is great after so long. And that sees our local comedians and Australian comedians from time to time cycle through, and it kind of underpins the comedy schedule for us. So we're hugely proud of that. And we look to complement the slate with other panel shows where we can. They're mostly local, but I would say there is potential opportunities to cross the ditch, especially with so many of our comedians crossing over these days. So, you know, we can push into that space when the right show comes up.
You after animation?
No.
No. Animation it hasn't been a part of our world since the days of Brotown, which you can look up on YouTube. And I happen to be sitting in the Brotown room, which is why I just thought of it. But no, animation is not something we seek these days.
Thank you. And so I just had a couple of questions pop up asking what digital first, linear second means for our delegates.
Sure. So as I say, we've got this platform 3 now, which is our free-to-air BVOD platform. So if anyone hasn't heard BVOD before, it's broadcast video on demand. So it's basically, free. It's free and it's led by our free-to-air channels. So 3 now houses content across all of our portfolio. So 3 content predominantly, but also Discovery content. We've got content on there from the Discovery stable from around the world. So lots and lots of great content on there, and we're increasing that offering all the time. But in terms of commissioning priorities, we don't go, so digital first for us means we might release early on digital. We release all of our content across both. So if you have a show that's commissioned for us, it will sit across both those platforms. It will be on 3 now and on 3. As I say, if we're commissioning something on Discovery pay TV channels, that can also live on 3 now. So if you think of 3 now as kind of a shop window essentially into that entire portfolio, that's probably the best way to describe it. In terms of the commissioning, yeah, we've been trialing and testing different release models over the last 12 months to a year to see what works best. So we will often see audiences coming into digital first. So for us, digital first means it's available first on digital. So like the block, so like the traitors, we have dropped early on digital for the super fans that want to go there and watch. And it's really interesting to see the behavior that comes with that. It doesn't impact our linear performance, is what we've seen. So we have separate audiences for both. So we can still play those shows on linear and attract a really good audience there as well. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, digital first commissioning for us really just means commissioning shows that we believe will drive digital performance and that can be released early on digital.
Fantastic. Thank you. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Scripted.
So drama, following on from what Vicky's just said, a lot of our drama, both Australian and New Zealand, is doing really well on our 3 now, on our BVOD site. Our local drama, Far North, is, catastrophic. It's just going through the roof at the moment. And Last King of the Cross, Safe House, and those Australian dramas are also doing really well. So there's probably some good co-producing opportunities to maybe explore in the future. On the local slate, we look for hard-hitting limited event series. Interestingly, Far North, which did well, had a slight comedic tilt. It's an irreverent look at one of New Zealand's biggest drug busts. So, there was an element of comedy. It did really well. But anything limited series, hard impact, something that's really going to hook people in and take them to the site is what we're after. And the ever elusive, long running, returnable series. 3 in the past had 2 really successful long running series called West Side and Brotown and Outrageous Fortunes. So we're looking for that again. It'll probably come from the local market, but you never know. Local films are more local films. They're probably New Zealand centric. But the next one, contributing to international co-productions, is definitely an opportunity open. We put in a license fee, and as long as I think the content probably has to have some New Zealand context, but we're open to looking at all pitches. Really, a good story always wins. Event drama, 6 to 8 episodes is probably the sweet spot for us, and the return on the returning slate, we'll just wait and see when it happens.
Fantastic. And so I guess this is where we come to the specific brief for Pitch on Demand. So we've seen, thank you so much for that overview of Warner Brothers Discovery, ANZ, and what you're looking for. And in terms of the brief, we're going to hone in on drama, would you say?
Yeah, I think drama is where the real opportunity is for a trans-Tasman partnership, for a co-production. And we're already in conversation on some of those. I'm definitely keen to hear more if there are more ideas around that could work in both territories. We definitely think there's an opportunity there. We're very keen to partner up, talk to people. As I said, we can look to discuss with networks as well in Australia. So if you need a free-to-air outcome in Australia as well as some support in New Zealand, that's really the opportunity for us. But yeah, also premium factual, I would say. So premium factual works brilliantly for us. It needs to be, obviously, it needs to be the right story, but it also needs to be something, if it's coming from an Australian producer, you need to either be partnering with a New Zealand production company to leverage the funding opportunities in New Zealand, or it needs to have that kind of trans-Tasman approach and be something that we might want to fully fund. We do have some currently in consideration that we will probably support, and with that kind of trans-Tasman approach. So that's another opportunity that definitely I think Tina would love to hear from drama producers if you've got something that's right.
Great. So we're looking at drama co-productions with Australia and New Zealand, and premium factual, potentially co-productions as well with Australia and New Zealand. Just a couple of questions because I know we're running short on time. How do you are you happy to meet with like less experienced teams, or do you prefer having experienced production companies?
So we will always look to, harness experience around our productions is important, but that doesn't mean that if you are less experienced, we wouldn't talk to you. We absolutely want to hear from, and we encourage and support new people into the market. And if you need that support from a production company, we're very happy to partner you or pair you with one or several production companies to have a conversation and see where you fit. We've done this previously. So someone's come in with a fantastic idea and they just maybe don't have the kind of infrastructure around them to pull it off. So that's when we might look to partner with a more experienced production company. All of our seasoned producers in New Zealand, and I imagine in Australia as well, would be happy to do that and offer that support. And it's certainly, it's not a barrier for us.
Right, that answered my next question as well then. So how market ready does a project need to be in order to submit? So when you submit to Pitch on Demand, often we ask for a one-pager. And then if you select from the one-pager to meet with some of these producers, what would you like to see? Is it like a bio, a first episode?
No, not even that advanced. So we're all really adept at seeing something in an idea from just a paragraph even, to be honest. You should be able to sell your idea in a paragraph. And one pages are great because they help us to kind of quickly see. And then we really enjoy the opportunity to work with producers to develop these ideas and to kind of shape them into what's going to work best for our audiences. So we don't expect people to come in with full proposals or sizzles or episodes or anything like that. Very keen to and also we don't want people to waste their time, right? So we want people to come in, be able to sell us on an idea, and then, we'll give people time to go away and work up to the next step, which will be a full proposal, schedule, budget, all the rest of it. But no, in the initial instinct, and we often run RFPs around the year, so we will call on the industry to send us one pages to start with. So we're very keen just to kind of judge off that one page before we go any further with an idea, because as I said, we know that it's really hard work to put together a proposal and spend all that time. We don't want people wasting their time if there's no realistic prospect of a commission at the end of it.
Okay, so we've just got a lot of questions coming in now. Just in terms of duration of episodes, a half hour, full hour, what do you prefer for the drama and premium factual?
Probably hours, if we're honest,
Hour?
because the programming team will tell you that they want hours. Very occasionally we'll convince them to do half, and we have some half-hour scripted comedies in the last year or so. But generally speaking, we look for hours.
And in terms of, are there any particular themes that you're looking for? And are you open to like sci-fi, dystopian, or is it more contemporary?
Probably not sci-fi and dystopian for our platforms. There are, within the Warner Brothers Discovery universe, we do have platforms that cater for that. But it's not where the bulk of our commissioning budget lies at the moment.
Okay. So is there any kind of genre that you're after, or are you just quite open with that outside of sci-fi dystopian?
Not so much from the unscripted perspective. Tina, is there any specific genre that you're looking for?
I would hate to say one thing and miss out on another.
Sure.
But crime and drugs, that's the standard answer, isn't it? But it doesn't mean to say that if there's a dystopian idea that has a great story, it might work. It's not our usual bread and butter. So I would like to leave that open and see what comes in. But we do sit mostly in a contemporary based relationships or drugs.
Okay.
Yeah. we should also we're very keen to mass genres as well. Like we're really keen to push boundaries and push into edgy new spaces. So massing up genres has historically worked really well. And I'm really keen to encourage that where the opportunity is right. We don't like to put boxes on things, and we actually try and be gutsy and brave in our commissioning decisions. So nothing better for us than when somebody challenges our thinking or comes in with something that we haven't thought of, or we haven't considered before. That gets us all really excited. So
great. Okay, so we're nearly out of time here. I'll just ask one final question. Are you interested in any kids shows or YA at all?
We wouldn't rule it out, but we're not focused on commissioning children's content at the moment. Young adults maybe, but probably less of a priority for us at the moment, just given where our audiences are sitting and where the opportunities for funding lie. So I'd say probably not. We more look for co-viewing opportunities.
Okay, great. And target audience for drama? Do you have?
As broad as possible.
Okay, great.
I just went to the outer reaches.
Everyone.
All right,
interesting because with Far North, we have seen an incredibly diverse, broad audience coming in for that show. Everything, right the way through. And for me, that's a measure of success because it means that we're reaching the maximum audience possible and driving the biggest rating. So, no particular audience demographic. We're open for everyone.
Okay, great. Okay, well, look, I think we've done it. I think we've narrowed it down here. So I'll just give a little recap. So we're looking for premium factual, true crime, human stories, series like 3 to 6 episodes. And then we're also looking for drama. So we're looking for contemporary, pushing boundaries, edgy, cutsy, and brave. And co-productions with New Zealand, 6 to 8 episodes potentially, or returnable series. Does that sound right?
Sounds good, Jess.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you. Really appreciate your time today, and thank you for joining. And thank you everyone for attending today. The application portal will open at midday for Foxtel and Warner Brothers Discovery, and then the Apple written brief will follow shortly, and the portal will remain open until the 3rd of November, with applicants to be notified final week of November for pitch meetings, first week of December. So thank you everyone. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.
Everyone, look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.